on the shopping center side, again, well, we've been very happy with our investments there so far. We've got quite a big stock up to today. But again, we're back on the development side. What Alexander was saying, it's there isn't all that much being built. The things that are being built are there's a focus on going back into the cities with the shopping centers, into the smaller towns as well, which I think is a wise thing, as long as it's a support for the shopping experience on the main drags of the A1 locations. I think shopping generally, but that's not a German issue, I think it's a pan-European global issue, has to adapt its shopping experience in order to counterfeit the online business. It's at 7% presently of turnover, and I think seen to go up to about double of that in the next 2 years. So hence why we're talking 14% of transactions. That's quite a lot of drag on the high street or on the shopping centers. So they need to reevaluate. They need to see where that product is going. So you need new product to be able to go with that, and you need very good center managers. That's really, and you need your teams on the ground yet again. Apart from that, do your research. You know where the encatchment areas are or not. We tend to look at the dominating shopping centers. Yields here also just have gotten less and less. If you look at shopping center trading as percentage on the total of the investments, the only reason it went down was lack of product. It wasn't because of lack of appetite. So the investors' appetite for retail is still a given. On the other hand, we also have the high street retail. And again, it's a pricing issue at the moment. As everything else, we're coming up to a ceiling of 2.7 that we saw in 2.6, 2.7. And especially high street retail, even in the B locations. I mean, we're outpriced in Munich, in Hamburg, in Stuttgart, and in all the big five. We can't afford high street retail anymore. I love the product. I think it had the best growth figures down the line in the last 10 years. Fantastic returns, both on the rental growth as well as the capital growth, on the yield growth. It's a very, Germans still like going into cities to go shopping, and I think it will always remain that. But we're outpriced. So you're paying your sub 4.75 if you want to go into high street retail. So we go into the B locations. We bought in Ulm, in Osnabrück. These are cities none of you have probably ever heard of. It's like I don't know. I couldn't even think. It's like buying in where was my boarding school? Blandford Forum, in case everybody knows Dorset. Not quite that small, but it's just going into real medium-sized cities. And you'd be surprised, Germany has quite a number of cities above 150,000 inhabitants. So those are good working cities. But you need your asset management team, and we've got a big team on the ground. So that's the real challenge. And again, buy a long lease contract with a good tenancy, little office on the top, as few as little because they're difficult to manage, and there'll be a drag on a very low return anyway. But it's a good product.
And are these new developments, or are these repositioning of assets?
Usually it's refurbs. What you do is, like you have anywhere else, the bigger retailers need bigger space, bigger floor plates in order to present their concepts, in order to be competitive against the online brokerage. Online trading. So you take the old buildings; they've been done up. There's a good couple of a good dozen players who know how to refurb and reposition these assets, and then you should be fine. And usually it's your H&Ms, your whatever is that to and Co. Look at your tenancy, of course, see if they have a future. But it's a very stable income and great rental growth so far.
Marcus, you want to come in?
Maybe just add a little bit on it. When you look at the last 6-7 years, retail warehousing was also a sector a lot of people, a lot of investors went in very heavily. But what we also have to remember when we talk about retail is that we have to be aware of that the demographics of Germany have to be taken into account when looking at investments also in retail. It's not a lot of talk about, but location is an issue for retail, and it's not only high street and shopping center, but also is the accessibility of your retail stores. And if you look at some of the retail warehousing investments in the last years, I would say accessibility is an issue for the medium to long term, because the aging population, an 80-year-old won't drive with his own car to the city fringe just to do his shopping. So the question now is, how do you really have accessibility by public transport to a lot of your shopping locations? And you see this with some kind of the supermarket chains that are coming back with smaller shop concepts to the living areas because they recognize the aging population, the demographics of Germany are an issue also for the retail sector, especially if you operate in the retail warehousing segment. You have to be aware of that you don't have so many 80, 90-year-olds driving around in their car to do their daily shopping. And that is something that will maybe change the market structure, not in 5 years, but in 10, 15, 20 years' time. And that is normally the horizon when you start to exit a market again, try to exit possibly. So then you have to figure that in when you enter the market today.